Hey guys, today is March 31st, and so this is technically the last day of week 2. So we're looking at Friday, even though it's not Friday. This is the day that we would fall on with having those 2 days out the first week of NTI, okay? So you are going to be finishing up your passages by reading about polar bears. So this should be the last passage. And what you're going to do is you're going to finish off by answering these worksheets about polar bears, okay? And then what I would like for you to do, if you have not already used this blank Venn diagram at the back of this document right here, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to compare 2 animals that you read about, okay? And if you could just have about maybe 4 or 5 things in each circle, how they're different and how they're the same, that would be awesome. So you don't need to actually write a title because it would be 2 different articles, but you would just let's say you want to do polar bears and kangaroos. So you would write polar bears on one side, you would write kangaroo on the other side. In this circle, you would tell me all about polar bears. In this circle, you would tell me all about kangaroos. And in the middle, you're going to tell me how they are the same, okay? So if you haven't already used one of these blank Venn diagrams, I would like for you to compare 2 of the animals that you read about this past week, okay? So that's why it says Venn diagram in there, okay? Lexia Raz Kids are the same. Dreambox is the same. Khan Academy lessons if you have time. For math, you're going to be comparing 2 3-digit numbers. So, and you actually it's only allotting you 1 day to get this done. And so I'll post a video of myself going over these. It looks lengthy, but it's not. It's just because you have charts that you're going to be looking at, okay? So you're going to be looking at place value, hundreds, tens, and ones. You're going to be telling which number is larger, which number is smaller, the greatest, the least, all of those different things. Okay. So I will post a video of myself going over these questions later today. Okay. And then for science, okay, writing's the same. Social studies, Fox, That's Shocked, Scholastic News, you still have time to finish that. It would be great if you got that done this week. And then for science, you have this activity. Now, I will say, I know that you're not going to have all of these items laying around your house. I totally understand that. I understand that you also can't go out and get these things, and I'm not asking you to do that. If you would like to complete the science activity, I would love it if you could just use items around your house, okay? And so the only qualifications for this project is that it has to meet these criterias, and that's the biggest part of the science experiment, is that you're meeting these criterias. And if we were doing these in school, I would just use things that I had around my classroom, okay? So this was meant to be as a group. So if you want to work on this as a family, that would be awesome. However, it's not necessary. It's also not necessary for you to actually design the monster. Drawing it would be sufficient enough. Okay. So you have to, if you want to build it, you have to draw it and you have to label your design before you build it. Okay. And the requirement is that the toy that you're building, okay, because up here at the top you have your challenge. You're going to design a monster for this Laugh-A-Lot toy company, and you're having to meet all of these guidelines, okay? So it must have monster-like characteristics. It must look like a monster. The toy must be flexible. That means it must be able to move, okay, to stretch and to bend. The toy should have smooth parts and fuzzy parts, so that's going to be about the texture. The toy must be strong enough to hold together on its own. That means when you're done building your monster, it can't fall over. You can't hold it up. The toy must be strong enough to hold on its own. The monster cannot be taller than 40 centimeters, and it cannot be more than 30 centimeters wide. So we don't want a giant toy being built. It says you may only use the provided materials, and that's going to be different for each household, okay, or the ideals that you have in your brain. So what you're going to do first is you're going to brainstorm and research. So just write down any ideas that you have about this challenge and what kind of monsters you're thinking about, okay? So you're not really drawing any pictures here, you're just writing down, okay, I want a monster that has wheels on it, or I'm thinking a monster that has big teeth. You would just write those things down, write down ideas. Then you're going to design a plan. Okay, so draw a plan and label the parts. So you are going to be drawing what your monster looks like. And when it says label the parts, you need to go back up here to the criteria. Okay, where's the fuzzy part? Where's the smooth part? Where are the monster like characteristic? Which part of the monster are flexible? You would need to label those like a diagram. Okay, so if I was doing this and I had like my monster here, I would say, okay, his ear, like maybe I have fur right here. Okay. So I would label that and say, okay, these are fuzzy. So you would need to label your project. Okay. If you are able to build it, you're going to build your monster that you created and you're going to test it and you're going to make sure, can it hold on its own? Okay. And so what scientists do is when they build something, they don't automatically just send it out to the company and have it built. They have to run tests on it, they have to make changes to it. And so, what you're going to write down here is you're going to tell me what changes you need to fix your design and list any problems that you had with your design. Did it fall over? Did something not stick? Did you forget a criteria? Maybe you forgot to make something smooth or flexible. Okay. Then you're going to refine and redesign, okay? So you're going to kind of figure out how could you solve these problems. Let's say your problem is your monster doesn't stand up on its own. Okay, can you build something that's going to hold it up? Can you fix something? And so you're going to draw your new design that's going to fix the problem, okay? And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to retest your model. So you're going to make sure it meets all the criteria and you're going to finalize your plan. Okay. And so you're going to be drawing a picture of your final design. Okay. And it says, what questions do you have about the observable properties of matter? Okay. Observable properties, size, shape, color. Do you have any other questions? This is a rubric for myself. Here's something that you could do that's really cool. If you do this experiment, like you have time, I would consider this kind of like an early finisher. I wouldn't really require you to do this, just something fun that you could do. I would love it if you could take a picture of your design and send it to me, and I can, post that out and show other people what you have built. You can send that to me through Class Dojo. You could send it to my phone. Any of those would be awesome. Okay. So again, the science experiment, I would not consider that to be a requirement of NTI days, kind of like an early finisher. If you're doing that Scholastic News, the Fox That Shocked, like I feel like that is fine for your science activity for the day. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'm excited to see your work.